Hi, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Katharine, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my 2024 year-end review. So I've separated this into two separate categories, one being the things that I've learned and second being the things that I've accomplished this year. So let's talk about the things that I've learned this year first. I have three things in this category. The first being that God's timing is perfect and it's okay not to be where you thought you would be at this point in your life. So for those who don't know, I am 28 years old. So I just hit like the 10-year mark of being out of high school and about like 5 years out of college. And I have my bachelor's degree in event management, which is a business degree. And I, at this point in my life, thought that I would be like steady in a career path and have, a boyfriend at least and on the track to get married. And neither of those things are where I am right now. And I really get down on myself because of the fact that I thought I would be like on the path to marriage, if not married at this point. And I also thought that my career would be further along than I have it right now. I am a thrift store manager for my church right now, and that's like not even remotely what I went to school for. So I was working at Disney in Florida in their events department, and then COVID hit in 2020, and that kind of thwarted my plans big time because I was forced to move back home to Massachusetts and then just like pick up jobs like kind of here and there and everywhere. That sounds like a Dr. Seuss saying in a book that he wrote, but I don't know if it is, but it sounds like it would be in a Dr. Seuss book. But anyway, like I've had jobs since COVID, but none of them have really like stuck, if that makes sense, because a lot of these jobs that I've had aren't in events, which is what I went to school for. Because after 2020 hit, like first of all, Disney shut down, and then also events weren't a thing anymore. So I was kind of stuck, like what am I supposed to do? Like my dream had always been to work for Disney because I grew up much like a lot of us as a Disney kid. I watched a lot of the Disney movies growing up. I visited the Disney parks a lot as a child, and I knew from a very young age that I've always wanted to work for Disney. As I got older, I noticed that I really loved working in events because my mom, used to throw a lot of parties for us kids for birthdays and things. So I was like, you know what, maybe I want to be an event planner for Disney. So that was kind of like my dream for a very long time, and that's why I studied event management in college and then ended up working for Disney. And then when COVID hit, it kind of just felt like all of my dreams came crashing down and I moved back home, which is what I did not want to do. That's like why I moved to Florida for college and ended up working and staying in Florida and being a cast member for Disney, is because like I did not want to be back in Massachusetts. But since being home these like past like 4 years, I have realized like how much I appreciate being back home and like how I was brought up in a small town in New England. Like I didn't realize how much I missed it until I was home. So over the past few years, I have come to appreciate where I am now in life, but like it's still hard sometimes because I still am in this like limbo period of like not really knowing specifically like where God is taking me. And of course, like the thrift store job that I'm, managing my church's thrift store right now is like not my dream job, and I know I'm not going to stay there forever. It was just kind of like a stepping stone. Like they offered me the job for the sake of offering me the job because I have had management experience. And also like they knew I was looking for a job and they trusted me to manage the thrift store. So it was kind of like that type of a situation where it's like they knew that I may be moving on going forward. Like even the pastor mentioned like, hey Katharine, like if you find another job, like no worries, like we just need someone to manage the thrift store right now. But I have like learned a lot from the thrift store, don't get me wrong. Like I've developed a lot of skills from the thrift store, like managing people and customer service and organization and everything like that. But like I just often struggle where I am in life, and I don't know where God wants to take me next. But I do want to bring up this verse. It's Isaiah 55:8. I'm sure a lot of you have heard this verse before if you're a Christian. It goes like this: "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways my ways, declares the Lord." So basically, as it says, like God knows what he's doing, and like his ways and his thoughts are much higher and bigger than our feeble like human thoughts, and like he knows what he's doing. And even though like I don't know what's going on in my life and I don't know what I'm doing, like God knows like why I'm here, like still living at home, like working for my church's thrift store, like managing it. So I'm like just trusting in that. And that's kind of like what the theme of was like this whole year, is just like being able to trust God like where he has me right now. But that was one of the things that I learned this year. The second thing that I learned this year is that it's okay to make mistakes. It's just how you react to them. And even though like I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, like this year seemed to be like the year where like I just felt like so, not so much like I made a lot of mistakes, but I just felt like the culmination of my life, like as we as humans, like, you know, we're not perfect, we all make mistakes, but like I felt like this year kind of like was a culmination of like I've looked at my life like in general, and I've seen a lot of the mistakes that I've made just in my life as a whole. And this year I kind of just I felt like a failure for a lot of it, and I was like, why did I make the decisions that I have? And like a lot of, I feel like where I am at in life is because of my mistakes. But like at the same time, like I was just mentioning in my last point, is that like God sometimes allows you to make mistakes to make you a better person. And it's all in how you react to what you've made mistakes to in the past. So it's how you react to them, and like not playing the victim and like wallowing in your mistakes. Like you get back up and you do what you have to do in order to overcome them. And did you learn anything from your mistakes? And if you did, like that's all that matters. And so that's another thing that I learned this year, and I found that I really overcame like the victimhood of it all. Like sometimes I would get into my mind of like playing the victim, but like this year I was like, you know what, I'm not the victim. I of course like have had situations happen where I've made a mistake, and of course like certain things happen as a consequence to my mistakes, but like I don't have to be bound to the mistake. Like I can move forward from the mistake. And then the third thing that I have here as something I learned this year is perseverance. So going along the lines of like making mistakes. So like I feel like having made mistakes just like leading up throughout my whole life, like I have learned to, you know, get over the hard things, like being able to still get up out of bed every day and like do hard things and work hard for what I want in life. And like even if I do make mistakes and I'm not perfect, at least like I know that there's a new day every day. Like there's the sun that always rises in the morning the next day. Like there's always a new opportunity for me to make things better for myself. So even though, you know, I don't like where I am at in life, and I, you know, have made mistakes in the past, I know now like to persevere and work hard to get what I want. And with the help from God, like God can only, you know, help me in those areas. Like I wouldn't be anything without God, to be honest. Like he's the one that gives me strength to work hard and to persevere. So it's just leaning into like reading my Bible, praying, and you know, God has given us like the tenacity to get through the hard things. Like he gives us that strength. He gives us, you know, hands to work hard and a brain to think. And, you know, I think that God is not a God that wants us just to sit back and like wait on him all the time. Like, he calls us to do things. Like, yes, does he call us to pray and sometimes to wait, but like sometimes he calls us to do the hard things as well, because things won't get done unless we take action on things. And so just going on, those were like the 3 things that I learned this year, and then I'm going on to the 3 things that I have accomplished this year or have done. And so the first thing is, going off of what I just mentioned of like working hard and persevering, is I paid off like a majority of, you know, my debt and loans this year. Like, that's like a huge thing. Like, the only thing that I truly have to pay off now is like my student loans, but those are like going down steadily. But I, you know, paid off my car. I was able to pay off some credit cards. I was able to pay off a personal loan. So like all of those are paid off now. The only loan or debt that I have now is my student loans, and those are going down quickly. Like, I'm paying that down every single month. And that just goes to show that like you can get out of financial hardship and like you can have financial freedom. And it's hard to see it like when you're in it, but like as long as you work hard and you live below your means, then that's what it takes to, you know, have financial freedom and pay down that stuff. Because when I had like all of those loans and like debt and things like that, I felt so trapped. Like, I felt like I couldn't do anything because I felt like all of my money was going into my bank account and out to all of these lenders. So now that I have, you know, paid off, I should say, a lot of my debt, I feel like I now have so much more freedom to do what I actually want to do, like save my money and like actually travel and things like that, and like hopefully save up for like an apartment or a house one day. So we'll see. But yeah, that was a big accomplishment this year. And then the second thing I have on this list is just continuing to eat healthy and stay active. So last year in 2023, I lost like 100 pounds, and I went from like 230 pounds to 130 pounds in a matter of like, I think it was like 10 months or something like that. So like, I believe I was like 230 pounds in February, and then by December I was like 130 pounds. So I believe that's like 10-ish months or 11 months, something like that. But it was a hard thing to do last year, but this year I was like able to like still maintain being active and healthy, like nutritionally, like what I ate. So I really am appreciative of that. Like, of course, like it's a struggle every day. Like, portion control is a huge thing, and just like continuing to stay healthy. Like I have like struggled with that because I feel like losing the weight was like the easier part for me, but like keeping the weight off and maintaining the weight that I have now has been the harder thing. Because like losing the weight, it's like, okay, like you think about it, it's like, okay, you're just in a calorie deficit. It's like a math problem. It's like you have to be under a certain amount of calories and burn off so many calories. It's like, for me, it was like very mathematical. I'm like, okay, like that's easy to lose the weight, but like maintaining the weight is a little bit harder, because it's like you don't want to continue losing weight because that would be unhealthy, but like at the same time, you don't want to gain weight either, the weight back that I had. So it's just like hard trying to like navigate, like how much do I work out? How much do I eat? Things like that. So just maintaining the weight and continuing to stay active has been a huge thing for me to accomplish this year. And the last thing that I accomplished this year was starting this YouTube channel. So that was a huge thing that I've always, in a dream that I've always had. I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers right now. I know that it's not like this huge thing, but at least I started it, and that's all that I can hope for, because at least I started it and I like got over my fears and I'm doing the thing. So that's all I have for today. Those were 3 lessons that I learned and 3 accomplishments for the year 2024. That was like my year in review, and I just appreciate you watching this video. If you did watch it, if you watched it up until this point, please leave the like celebration, like little horn thing like with the confetti at the end, if you know what I'm talking about, because it's the new year coming up and I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for me and for you and for all of us. Do all the YouTube things that you know how to do, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!